I'm 82 years old, and the worst thing I ever did was make my daughter promise she would never put me in a nursing home. If I could take back one sentence from my whole life, it would be that one. I'm an old woman now, talking mainly to other women, daughters, mothers, granddaughters. People say I won because I'm still in my own house, in my own bed, with my own curtains and dishes. They call it independence, but when the door closes behind my daughter at night and I hear her car pulling away, it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like a choice I made and she paid for. My fear started long before I was old. My mother died in a nursing home when I was in my 40s. I remember the smell of that place, bleach, medicine, and something tired. Old women in thin nightgowns sat in wheelchairs along the hallway, staring at a television no one was really watching. We'd visit on Sundays. I'd sit by my mother's bed and hold her hand while a nurse rushed in and out, doing a dozen things at once. When we walked back to the car, I'd say to my husband, half laughing, "If you ever put me in one of those places, I'll never forgive you." I said it as a joke, but my heart meant every word. Like many women, I spent the first half of my life looking after everyone else. 3 children, a husband who worked late, a house that seemed to need constant attention. I cooked, cleaned, sewed school costumes, sat up all night when someone had a fever. No one asked how tired I was. That's just how it was for women then, and for many of us still. We were the ones people leaned on. I never thought about who I would lean on one day. Getting old doesn't happen in one moment. It creeps up. First your back aches in the evening. Then you start forgetting a name here and there. Then suddenly your friends' funerals are on your calendar. My husband died when I was 68. One morning he went out to clear the snow from the driveway and never came back. Heart attack, fast and final. After the funeral, the house changed. The same walls, the same furniture, but a different silence, a heavier one. I was still walking, still cooking, still driving, but I felt the edges of things closing in. Still, whenever anyone mentioned assisted living or a facility, all I could see was my mother in that hallway. My eldest son started gently, "Ma, you shouldn't be alone here. We could look into senior apartments, places with people around. You'd have your own room, your own things." My daughter said, "You could stay with us for a while, see how it feels." But all I heard under their words was, "We're getting ready to put you away." So I shook my head and said, "No, listen to me. Don't you ever put me in a home. Promise me. I want to die in my own house." And because they loved me, they promised. The warning signs came slowly. I tripped on a rug and sat on the floor for an hour, before I could pull myself up. I left a pot on the stove until it burned black. I slipped in the shower and bruised my ribs. Everyone around me grew more worried. My doctor talked about safety and support. My children mentioned home health aides, emergency buttons I could wear around my neck, senior communities with staff on site. I folded my arms and refused to even go look. I told myself I was protecting my dignity. What I was really protecting was my fear. My daughter stepped in the most. First, she came once a week to help with groceries and laundry, then twice, then most days. She'd finish work, buy my bread and milk, clean my bathroom, and go home late to her own family. I liked having her here. I told people proudly, I still live on my own. But the truth was, I was living on her energy, her time, her body. She stopped saying yes to things because she had to say yes to me. She never complained. That's what breaks my heart. Women often don't complain. We just bend a little more and a little more until something cracks. The turning point was a fall in the bathroom. I reached for the towel rack, it came off, and I went down hard. I lay there on the cold tiles, the light buzzing overhead, time stretching in a strange way. A neighbor eventually noticed my newspaper still outside and called my daughter. In the hospital, they didn't use gentle words anymore. You can't live alone like this, the doctor said. You need 24-hour care. A nursing home would be safest. My daughter sat by my bed, her face pale and swollen from crying. When she repeated the doctor's words to me, something wild rose up in me. I grabbed her hand and said, "No, please, don't put me there. Take me home. I don't care what it takes. Just don't leave me in one of those places." And my good, tired daughter, who had already given so much, said, "Okay, Mama, I'll take you home." She cut her hours at work. She arranged for a woman to come in the mornings. She gave up weekends away, declined invitations, and built her days around my pills, my meals, my appointments. Her husband grew quieter. Their arguments became softer, but more frequent. I could hear them through the thin walls when I stayed with them after the fall. One night I heard him say, "We don't have a life anymore. Everything is about your mother." And she answered in a voice that sounded broken, "What am I supposed to do? She's my mother." That's when it hit me. I had succeeded in staying out of a nursing home by turning my daughter's life into one. Her world had shrunk to the size of my needs. If you are a woman listening to this, maybe you care for your children, your parents, or both. I want you to hear this from another woman who has been on both sides. I thought staying in my own house was the same as staying strong. I thought asking my children to promise never to put me away was love. It wasn't. It was fear wrapped in love's language. I wish I had been braver earlier. I wish I had at least gone to see some of those places, talked honestly with my children before there was a crisis. I wish I had said, "I'm scared, but I don't want you to lose your life taking care of the end of mine. I can't fix what's already been done. My daughter can't get back the years she spent running between her house and mine, holding everyone else up while no one held her." We still love each other deeply, but our relationship carries that weight now. I am still in my own home. People still say, "You're lucky you never had to go to a nursing home." I just nod, because how do I explain the real cost? If this meant something to you, just let it sit with you for a while. Think about the promises you ask for and the ones you give. Talk about these things before someone is staring at a hospital ceiling, begging. My time is short. I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me. I only hope some younger woman hears this and feels a little less afraid of help and a little more protective of her own life. Staying out of a nursing home isn't real freedom if it quietly cages the women who love you. That's what I learned at 82 in this quiet house, listening to my daughter's footsteps fade down the path.